Hello, today is Monday, it's the 9th of August 2021 and it is exactly 1 week since I quit smoking. And what a week it's been. It's had its ups and downs, it's had its trials and tribulations, and it's had its massive positives which outweigh everything else prior to this, and which has caused me really to record this video today as a recap and a reflection really on what that week's been like. And I'm doing this for me, for the future me rather, and so I can look back and think, yeah, you did it. I've talked in previous videos, I've talked about, you know, the financial costs of smoking and also the detriment to health from smoking cigarettes. So really I'm not going to really cover too much about that today, or really if anything. The one thing that I have noticed this week has been my mindset, the difference in my mindset for this attempt to stop smoking. I have tried over the years to quit, and I've realised now that those times were a little bit weak. The reasonings behind that was weak, or I just didn't have sufficient drive. You know, it was almost like it was desperation sometimes to stop smoking. But after 43 years of a hardline smoker, I am now 1 week clear, and I never thought that that would happen. The difference this time has been mindset and how you switch that mindset on. You know, to start this journey, I've realised that I needed the right reasons and the tenacity to actually say, yes, today I'm going to do it, which was last Monday. And I did it. And that mindset came from all of these things, you know, the cost and the health aspect of it and stuff like that. One of the things that I did learn this week, which was interesting, was about nicotine receptors and how they work on the brain. You know, when we take nicotine into our body or tobacco products, what actually happens. And it's these receptors, these little devilish receptors that we've got, that demand nicotine. Okay, so they get the nicotine, and then what they do, they trip out your dopamine, right? Okay, and your dopamine gets released. Okay, your dopamine is like the feel good factor of everything. It's what happens when you feel really, really good. You're getting loads of dopamine, you know, doing its thing. The problem with nicotine is that when it triggers the receptors, and the receptors then trigger the dopamine. I'm no professional on this, by the way. I'm not a medical person. I'm still working a lot on this and researching it. But when that dopamine gets released, it is fleeting. It's not like when you've just done something really, really good. You've won a prize, or you know, you've won the lottery. It's not that kind of release. This is fleeting. You don't even realise it's happening. Okay. It was probably your first 1 or 2 cigarettes that you smoked way back that you got that bit of a buzz from, you know. So yeah, and then that got me to thinking then. So really, and I'm going to research this, is are we actually truly addicted to nicotine, or is it the dopamine that we're actually addicted to? You know, we're getting this reward factor. And it's these little cue times that happen around that, you know. So you've got cues, like for instance with me, over the past few videos, I've always said one of my favourite times prior to quitting to go out and have a cigarette was in the morning, when I made a cup of coffee, beautiful morning, go and sit in the garden and smoke cigarettes. Or when I get in the car, you know, I used to get in the car and go to the shops, go to work, and I'd get in the car, light a cigarette, go in the shop, come out and relight another cigarette on the way back. This is when your receptors are going, right, well, you know, you're just going to sat in the garden, mate. Now it's the time for us to, you know, light up a cigarette. Or you're getting in the car, your receptors are going, hang on a minute, why? What are you doing? You're getting in the car and you're not actually doing anything. So these little receptors are doing that all of the time. These are the niggly bits. And oddly enough, I've noticed this week, so I've noticed it with me, there's 2 types of cravings. Okay, so I get these like little gremlin type niggly ones that go, and they're just there all the time. They're in the back of your brain, they're in the back of your mind. Now I can deal with them because I use nicotine replacement therapy. So I've got a spray and I can spray that out, and it does knock them back quite a lot. And then there's the really, wow, the overwhelming craving where you really know that you want to have a cigarette, okay? And that is the big one. That is the one that you've got to really get a grip of. But what I've noticed is that they usually only last 15 minutes. So what I've done, and again, this is a change of mindset now, is that I don't allow myself to use the word smoke anymore. I don't say, apart from, obviously I'm making videos about quitting smoking, so I've got to use that word, but in general I don't use that word anymore. I don't mention it, because an interesting thing that I found out is that your subconscious, right, the thing that sort of tells you that you want a cigarette, it doesn't know any negatives. There's no negatives with your subconscious. It can't possibly be. So your subconscious goes, right, you really want a cigarette now, and you say, no I don't, and your subconscious goes, hang on mate, you do, you really want a cigarette now? No I don't. And you're telling your subconscious, and your subconscious then getting a bit growly at you, and it's going, come on, it's time to have a cigarette, it's time to have a smoke. No, but your subconscious doesn't understand you saying no. It has no feeling, your subconscious. It's deep within inside you. It's weird. I might be a tiny little bit wrong on that. I'm not a scientist, and I'm not a doctor, and I'm not a consultant. It's just stuff that I've gathered, but it works for me, and I don't care if I'm slightly wrong about it, because what I'm thinking is actually right for me. So now what I've done is I changed that word smoke for something else. So as soon as I hear my subconscious, and I'm aware it's going to do it, because I get that little, and it's a little pickup I can feel in myself, and I think, right, I really need to get some air now. And then I take huge gulps of air. I'll go out and breathe in deep. Or I think to myself, right, it's time, I need to go for a walk around the garden. And I go for a walk around the garden, and within 15 minutes, or even being distracted by something else, it's past. I am retraining my subconscious to a better thing. I'm rewarding it with something nicer than actually thinking it needs tobacco or nicotine, because as I've said in a previous video, we don't need it. Okay, you wasn't born smoking, you wasn't born with cigarettes in your hand or any substance that you use. You wasn't born with this. You have taught yourself that you think you need this product, and you don't. Okay, so I'm retraining myself. That's been the key. So like I said, in past attempts, it's always been a bit frail, my past attempts at trying to quit smoking. Am I being more successful this time around? I believe that I am, but it has to be, and your mindset has to be this, is that each day at a time now. Earlier in the week when I first started, I did the day in portions. So it was, wake up in the morning and get to lunchtime. From lunchtime to 4 or 5 o'clock. From 4 or 5 o'clock, around dinner time, tea time, whatever you want to call it, from there to bedtime, and then start the next day, and just take each little bit like that. Now I can do each day at a time, because nobody knows what's going to happen tomorrow. You've got no idea how you're going to feel tomorrow about things, and I don't think that far ahead now. I'm just dealing with each day as it comes, and it's been working. I don't want to lecture, okay? I'm not trying to say to anyone that my method now is the right way, because it might not be for you. For me, it works a treat. For someone else, it might, oh pardon me, got hiccups. For someone else, it might work fantastic. Someone else's method doesn't work for me. People talk about going cold turkey. I couldn't possibly go cold turkey. Ultimately, my interest at the moment is not about the nicotine. I can deal with the nicotine further down the road. That's on a back burner, I'm weaning myself off it. My primary cause for stopping smoking was to stop putting this poison in my body that's derived from cigarette smoking. The hydrogen hydrogen, what's the word from hydrogen cyanide, formaldehyde, things like that. I don't want that in my body. So that's what I'm dealing with first, you know. But each to their own, each to their own, you know. I'm hoping that someone might get a little bit of a light from what I've been saying. The mindset has been the massive changer this week, above everything, you know. The way you do it is good for you, and if it's good for you, then that is the right way, you know. You do need a bit of willpower, you do need a bit of strength, and that's no lie, you know. You do need it. Good grief, there's been times this week where I could quite have cracked a few, you know, I would have cracked a few times, but I didn't. And that's the difference, you know. You think about anybody, you know, you think about famous people, actors, sports people. Their attitude to what they do puts them above everybody else, you know. You might think that you're a good football player, you know, but you go and play in a pro league, you're going to get wiped out, you know. That's the difference with these professionals, is that they have an attitude that drives them along, that says that they can do it, they can achieve, they can go past those barriers. And that is what I've employed as well this week, you know, is that I can break through these barriers. I'm not making world changing achievements. I am for me and for my family, and above everything else, that is the most important thing. That is the main driver. Me and my family, and the protection of that, you know. For now, pretty much that's all I've got to say. It has been a cracking week. The last couple of days has even been better than that, you know. Please like and subscribe, okay. I'm not in this for money, okay. There's no money to be made from this. There's no, you know, and the praise, it's just lovely to hear words of encouragement, but I'm not expecting people to blow balloons up. The reason I think about the like and subscribe, because I don't exactly know how YouTube works, you know, this is brand new to me as well. But, you know, if I think to myself that other people might be able to see my videos and just get a little bit of encouragement from them, brilliant, you know, fantastic. Equally, if you know someone who's struggling to try and stop or wants to stop, you know, point them at my video or point them at someone else's videos about stopping, quitting, whatever it takes, you know, point them in their direction and just get them started. Because once that journey starts, it's an amazing thing. It's that first thing is an amazing sense of achievement that you've actually gone to start it. Meantime, thank you very much for listening. Stay safe, look after yourselves, be happy, and if you are on this journey of quitting smoking or you're thinking about it, more power to you. You can achieve it, you will achieve it. Just keep yourself motivated, and it does get easier, okay? These cravings, they're not as bad as people make out. They're not painful, they're just annoying, okay? That's the truth of it. They are just so criminally annoying, okay? And thank you very much for listening. Bye bye till next time. Bye bye.